Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Concept Builders. This is CS Sudipta Mukherjee and our topic for today is FIMDA. So FIMDA is Fixed Income Money Market and Derivatives Association of India, and it is an association of banks and financial institutions. It is a Section 25 company incorporated under Companies Act 1956. FIMDA was incorporated on 4th of May 1998. FIMDA is a voluntary organization for bonds, money market and derivative markets. So we'll see who are the members of FIMDA. FIMDA has 12 members from public sector banks, 23 members from private sector banks, 34 members from foreign banks, 7 members representing primary dealers, 6 members representing financial institutions, 15 members representing insurance companies. So if we go to MCA master data page for FIMDA, we can see that the FIMDA is a guarantee company. It was incorporated on 4th of May 1998. It's a public company which is unlisted, and the registered office of FIMDA is in Mumbai. So we'll see what are the roles and functions of FIMDA. FIMDA functions as a primary interface with the regulators like RBI, SEBI, Ministry of Finance, IMF, World Bank, etc. on issues that impact the functioning of these markets. FIMDA also undertakes developmental activities such as introduction of benchmark rates for investments, new derivative instruments, etc. FIMDA also provides training and development support to dealers and member institutions. It adopts and develops international standard practices and code of conduct in the above fields of activity. FIMDA also devises standardized best market practices and functions as an arbitrator for disputes between member institutions. The role of FIMDA also includes to develop standardized set of documentation. So the scope of FIMDA can be bifurcated into 3 parts. These are fixed income or bond market, money market and derivatives. So we'll look into each of these segments in brief. So the first one is fixed income or bond market. So the bond market is where the investor go to trade debt securities, prominently bonds, which may be issued by companies or governments. Bond market is also known as the debt or credit market. Securities sold on bond market are all various forms of debt. By buying a bond or credit or debt security, you are lending money for a set of period and charging interest the same way bank does to its debtors. The bond market provides investor with a steady source of regular income, such as in the form of regular interest payments to the investor. Many investors choose to hold bonds in their portfolio as a way to save for retirement for their children's education or long-term needs. So the next segment is money market. The main basic function and feature of money market is the maturity. The money market instruments are short-term debt instruments which has a maturity of usually up to 1 year. Money market instruments are controlled by RBI, and the instruments traded in money markets are certificate of deposit, treasury bills, commercial papers and promissory notes. Money market instruments are considered as highly liquid as they are fixed income security which carry a very short maturity periods, and the issuer of money market instruments have a very strong credit rating. So the investment is usually very safe. And the money market instruments are issued at discount on the face value. The third segment is derivative market. Derivative market refers to the financial market for financial instruments such as underlying assets and financial derivatives. There are 4 kinds of participants in the derivative market, such as hedgers, speculators, arbitrageurs and margin traders. The derivatives can be used to hedge a position, speculate on the directional movements of an underlying asset or give leverage to holdings. The value of the derivative market comes from the fluctuation of the underlying asset. And there are 4 types of derivative contracts. They are options, futures, forwards and swaps. Features of derivative markets are very risky, they're very sensitive and volatile. Also, they're very complex. Exchange traded derivatives like futures or stock options are standardized and eliminate many of the risk of over-the-counter derivatives. So we'll see what the FIMDA circulars are. FIMDA every year on 31st March, FIMDA issues circulars for valuation of investments such as central government securities, state government security, treasury bills, bonds issued by government, inflation index bonds, etc. as per the instruction in the master circular issued by Reserve Bank of India. The valuation of the investment portfolio shall be in accordance with the directions guidelines circular issued by RBI for both banks and primary dealers. So the FIMDA circular covered in this video is circular issued by FIMDA on 31st of March 2020. The circular number is this, FIM CIR 2019-2035. So before diving into the details of investment guidelines issued by FIMDA in the circular, we will see what are SLR and non-SLR investments. So what are SLR investments? SLR ratio, statutory liquidity ratio, is determined by RBI, maintained by banks in order to control the expansion of bank credits. Commercial banks in India are required to maintain in the form of gold or government approved securities before providing credit to customers. The SLR is commonly used to control inflation and fuel growth by increasing or decreasing it respectively. And who increases and decreases the norms for SLR? RBI. So what are non-SLR investments? Non-SLR investments are those where the return is based on the prospects of commercial market. So apart from core lending business, banks also make some investments in the capital markets, mutual funds, commercial papers, etc. The limits of non-SLR investments are prescribed by RBI. So these are the guidelines prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India to banks for investment in non-SLR securities. Investments in perpetual debt instruments is not permitted. Investment in unlisted securities should be subject to a minimum rating prescribed and should not exceed 10% of the total non-SLR investments. Banks should comply with the instructions regarding investment policy and dealing in security transactions. There should be no default by bank in maintenance of statutory cash reserve and liquid assets requirement as prescribed by RBI Act or Banking Regulation Act. Banks should have achieved the targets fixed by RBI from time to time for lending to priority sectors or weaker sections. Overdues of banks should not be more than 15% of their outstanding loans and advances. Banks should comply with RBI instruction regarding income recognition, asset classification and provisioning. Banks should undertake usual due diligence in investments in non-SLR securities. Banks should ensure that such activities are not financed by way of funds raised through non-SLR securities. All fresh investments under non-SLR category should be classified under held for trading category or available for sale categories only and should be marked to market as per applicable to this category of investments. Banks must make all fresh non-SLR debt securities only in listed debt securities of public sector undertakings which comply with the requirements of SEBI. Banks should not invest in non-SLR securities of original maturity of less than 1 year. Banks should ensure that exposure to a single issuer of debt securities is within the individual exposure ceiling prescribed by RBI. Also, banks are not permitted to invest in zero coupon bonds. So, let us go to valuation of investments. Valuation of investments can be categorized to two categories. First is valuation of government securities and the second one is valuation of non-SLR bonds. So under valuation of government securities, these are classified into these subcategories. The first subcategory is central government securities. All securities, whether SLR or non-SLR, shall be valued as per prices or yields published by FVIL. FIMDA is the calculating agent. What is FVIL? FVIL is an entity jointly created by financial benchmark administrators. These are FIMDA, FIDI and IBM. So the percentage of shareholding in FVIL of FIMDA is 76%, FIDI is 14% and IBA is 10%. FBIL was formed in December 2014 as a private limited company under Companies Act 2013. Next subcategory of investment is state government securities. FBIL publishes the prices and yields for all the state government securities calculated as per methodology available on FBIL or FIMDA website in conformity with the RBI guidelines. FIMDA is the calculating agent. Next is treasury bills. For banks and bank primary dealers, treasury bills will be valued at carrying cost. For standalone primary dealers, all securities in AFS and HFT categories. AFS is available for sale category, HFT is held for trade category, will be valued on mark-to-market basis. Traded T-bills will be valued at rated prices, and non-traded T-bills will be valued at yields interpolated from T-bill curve published by FBIL. Next category is floating rate bonds issued by central government. These rates are published by FBIL with FIMDA as the calculating agent. When traded price is used for valuation. If not traded, market observable and tradable price will be taken. Next category, inflation index bonds. These rates are published by FBIL with FIMDA as the calculating agent. When traded price is to be used for valuation. When non-traded, model prices are generated as per detailed valuation methodology available on FIMDA. So the second category under valuation of investment is valuation of non-SLR bonds. So the first subcategory is traded bonds, where the debentures bonds are quoted and there have been transactions within 15 days prior to the valuation date. The value adopted should not be higher than the rate at which the transaction is recorded on the stock exchange. For non-traded bonds which are rated, these should be valued on basis of YTM basis. Such debentures or bonds may be of different companies having different ratings. These will be valued with appropriate markup over the YTM rates. The markup will be graded according to the ratings assigned to the debentures or bonds by the rating agencies. The rates used for YTM for rated debentures or bonds should be at least 50 basis points above the rate applicable to a Government of India loan of equivalent maturity. For bonds non-rated by a rating agency but a corresponding rated bond of the issuer exist. For these bonds, the rate used for YTM for unrated debentures or bonds should not be less than the rate applicable to the rated debentures or bonds of equivalent maturity. The markup for the unrated debentures or bonds should appropriately reflect the credit risk borne by the bank. Next subcategory is bonds or debentures and preference shares which are not rated by a rating agency and no corresponding rated bonds of the issuer exist. The spreads of BBB minus for residual tenor marked up by 25% will be the applicable credit spreads, and same for bonds and debentures which were rated by a rating agency but became unrated during their tenor, and no corresponding rated bonds of the issuer exist. Same, the spreads of BBB minus for residual tenor marked up by 25% will be the applicable credit spreads for these bonds. Next is bonds or debentures having special features. So under this category there are several subcategories which we'll see one by one. First is special securities. Securities which are directly issued by Government of India to the beneficiary entities which do not carry SLR status may be valued at a spread of 25 basis points above the corresponding yield on Government of India security. Next is floating rate bonds which are non-SLR. Floating rate bonds are instruments where the coupon rate is variable and is calculated using a certain predetermined methodology using benchmark rate, which is market determined interest rate used for computation of the coupon rate from time to time. Next category is MIBOR. MIBOR is Mumbai Interbank Offer Rate Linked Bonds. The OIS market codes, OIS is Overnight Index Swap market codes, will be used to convert MIBOR rate into fixed rate for the outstanding tenor. Then the bond will be valued similar to a fixed coupon bond using the valuation methodology for corporate bonds or debentures. Next subcategory, bonds with floor and cap. Bonds with a collar spread of 25 basis points or less will be valued like a fixed coupon bond, with coupon being average of the cap and floor. Next subcategory, staggered redemption bond. Treatment of staggered redemption bond should be of that as a plain vanilla bond with residual maturity equal to weighted average maturity of principal flows. Discounting rate and spreads should be as per the weighted average. So the next subcategory is commercial paper or certificate of deposits. Commercial papers or certificate of deposits of 10 or less than 1 year should be valued at carrying cost. For knowing the market value of CDs, the CD yield curve published by FBIL may be used. Bonds with call and put options, where bonds have simultaneous call and put options on the same day, and there are several such calls and put options in the life of the bond, the nearest date should be taken for price or yield to maturity calculation. Only callable bonds. Bonds which are only callable by the issuer will be valued at the lowest of the values as obtained by valuing the security to final maturity, and for only puttable bonds which are puttable by the investor should be valued at the highest of the values as obtained by valuing the security to final maturity. Next is DISCOM bonds. DISCOM bonds are issued by electricity distribution companies and under the financial restructuring plan. Under FRP, initially the DISCOM will issue their bonds which will be converted to special securities of the concerned state government on or before 5 years. DISCOM bonds are valued as per RBI circular, considering the bonds maturity as stated by DISCOM on its face value or term sheet for which the coupon payments are known. Next category is Uday bonds. Uday bonds belonging to a particular maturity bucket will be valued at average of the published YTMs of SDLs of that maturity bucket. Tax-free bonds. These bonds are to be valued at traded price. In case of tax-free bonds were traded in the last 15 days. In case of other tax-free bonds, the coupon will be grossed up by a factor equal to the income tax rate applicable for the holder of the tax-free bonds. Next subcategory, security receipts or pass-through certificates issued by reconstruction company or securitization company. These are to be valued as per NAV given by the reconstruction company or securitization company. Priority sector bonds. Priority sector bonds issued by All India Financial Institution and public sector undertaking should be valued as per PSU FI AAA rated paper. Securitized paper. All securitized paper would be valued on the basis of the base yield curve and the applicable spreads as per the spread matrix relative to the weighted average maturity of the paper. So this will be all for FIMDA. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and share this video and subscribe to our channel. I hope you like this video and I hope this video will be helpful to you. Thank you.